Welcome everyone to another episode of Pop Rant Radio, the podcast where two pop culture junkies discuss popular and sometimes not so popular culture. My name is Moss, I'm one of your hosts, and with me as always is my good friend and co-host, Eric. How are you today, sir?
Pretty good. A bit of a headache now.
Yeah, let's just get into it. So we just spent the last several minutes talking about Shrek for no reason.
Well, more so Smash Mouth.
And then we got on the topic of Smash Mouth. So basically, I don't even know how we got on this topic.
I don't know. Well, we were talking about the topic today.
Yeah, so the topic today is animated movies, non-Disney animated movies.
We kind of avoided DreamWorks a little bit, even though someone messed up.
I think we avoided Pixar as well.
Pixar's Disney now.
Well, right. But, you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
Fine. So, for whatever reason, we got on the subject of Shrek, and then we got on the subject of Smash Mouth and how awful Smash Mouth is.
Yep. And then I showed you the most amazing video ever.
Yeah, you showed me the video of...
It's like desynced
Smash Mouth
All-Star.
It's like off-tempo Smash Mouth, the song All-Star, and it's horrible, but
just
it's
look up
amazing.
Smash Mouth All-Star worst thing. It'll be the very first thing you find.
It was pretty great, and then somehow we got on the subject of a TV show where what's the guy's name? The lead singer from Smash Mouth.
Pauly Shore.
Lumpy derpy guy. What's his name?
Lumpadurpus.
Lumpadurpus.
That's his name.
Yeah, Lumpadurpus.
Steve Harwell.
Steve Harwell. So Steve.
Somebody once.
Exactly.
Just that over and over again.
Steve Harwell. He has to go onto a children's variety show where he has to dress up as Shrek, but in like a really crappy Shrek costume.
Like a 1990s Halloween.
Yeah,
it has to be from the 90s too, so it has to be like a little torn.
It's just like a green nose and then like the little green ear stalks.
Like a headband.
That's all it is. Like it's nothing else. And he comes out on stage and he's like, "Hey kids, what's going on?" And his like fucking stupid Smash Mouth voice.
And we talked about how kind of like Pee Wee Herman's the word of the day,
right?
The Playhouse, where the word of the day said they all shout it. And this would be whenever a word that happens to be a lyric to All Star is said,
right? Or
a situation would lead to All Star being played.
Yeah. He
just has to go, "What? Somebody," and just go right into it.
Yeah. over. So like every episode of this half an hour long show, they play the song All Star like 6 or 7
it's like
times.
A 4-minute song.
Every single episode, because anytime somebody says anything, Steve Harwell just launches into All Star. And Eddie Murphy is awful. He is awful.
Now he is.
Eddie Murphy is also on the show.
But as like a very bad 1999 Windows Movie Maker animated donkey.
Right, it's just like really bad, like almost no animation whatsoever. Just
Mouth doesn't move.
Yeah, just like kind of rolled out on the stage, and the show has nothing to do with Shrek at all, like other than his costume. And then the name of the show is Shreknanigans.
Yep.
Because for whatever reason, we kept saying "get Shreked" over and over again. Oh, Shreknanigans, starring Steve Harwell.
Should we just cut that and put that as an extra?
This is staying in.
God damn it.
This is staying in.
How are we going to get back to a real topic?
It doesn't matter. So today's topic is non-Disney animated films. I know, I'm just reestablishing. Shreknanigans needs to be a thing. Whoever...
Netflix, pick it up.
Contact Steve Harwell. He's clearly not doing anything.
He's definitely not doing anything. He might be playing at children's birthday parties.
Oh my god, that was funny. So, so we're going to talk about non-animated. We're going to talk about non-Disney animated films today. And, so do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
This is all staying in, by the way. Oh man, this one's going to be fun. So, all right, I'm going to start off by talking about...
Too much Shrek in this.
Oh my god, too much Shrek.
Man, you did get Shreked.
I got Shreked, man. I got Shreked. I'm going to start off with talking about Chicken Run, which
what?
is... Yeah, I love Chicken Run.
That's so weird.
Chicken Run came out in like 2000...
Is it because it reminds you of Rocketeer?
No, not really.
It's about someone flying, kind of?
Yeah. You know what also gets me? That Amelia Earhart movie with Hilary Swank that nobody saw because it's about somebody flying.
They called Hilary Swank?
No, it was called...
Hilary Swank?
I think it was called You Got Swanked. It was called Amelia, I think.
Ew.
Yeah.
Wait,
Anyway.
was that about Amelia Earhart or that was about
Yeah.
someone else?
What else? No, not Amelie.
Oh, okay.
Amelia.
So I'm thinking
That's a different movie entirely.
the one with the really pale girl with the black hair?
Yeah. The foreign film, Amelie. So Chicken Run. Did you see Chicken Run?
I did, actually. I saw it a long time ago. I saw it with my grandma, I want to say, even.
I saw it with my dad in theaters, and we ended up really liking it. And I was probably... This movie came out in like 2000 and...
It was early 2000s, so I want to say
2000, 2001, something like that.
3 at the latest.
You were 3?
No, 2003.
Oh, 2003. I was like, you weren't 3. So I
I
was...
am now.
I think I was probably like... 4. Yeah, 40. I was about 40. I was probably like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that neighborhood when this movie came out. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I really liked it. It's a fun movie. Chicken Run was made by the same people who did the Wallace and Gromit animated.
Why do you know their name?
Because of reasons. Because I don't look things up. Because that's a rule that I just made up. What's their names? Do you know?
I don't.
Cool.
I know. I also know they do Shaun the Sheep, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Steve Harwell made Chicken Run. Great movie. He was more
Classic
talented as a filmmaker than a singer.
You didn't put enough quotes around that.
Well, insert quotations.
Yep.
And so it's a great movie. It's about Mel Gibson is a rooster, and he
This is pre-Jew meltdown.
yes, he comes across a group of chickens that are all in this chicken coop, and they're systematically being slaughtered and turned into chicken meat pies, mincemeat pies.
By like an animated Ava Green.
Yeah, but an animated, like, crazy old shrill Ava Green. Not really like Ava Green at all, actually.
Like black hair.
I don't know. Sure, yeah, big eyes, black hair. That's Ava Green.
Bing, check mark.
Got it. So it's funny. It's kind of like a British comedy because all the chickens are English. They have English accents, as do the two mice or rats or whatever they are in the movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this movie
Rodents.
in a long time. Yeah, but I love it and I want to talk about it. Mel Gibson rolls in and he's like, "You should escape," and they all think that he can fly because when he originally entered the chicken coop, he like crashed off of his.
Fell with style.
He fell with style, exactly. And so they all think that he can fly. They want him to teach them how to fly. So he takes them on this like whole big training regiment. But of course he can't fly because he's a rooster.
Yep, so far so good.
Right.
Neither good chickens, but it's fine.
And of course it's the whole liar revealed. They figure out, oh, you can't really fly. But he helps them escape anyway.
By building the contraption from Bug's Life.
Exactly. It has one of my favorite lines from any animated movie in it where the two rats or mice or whatever they are talking about how to escape. And one of them is like, "Yeah, we're going to sneak in real quiet like." And the other one's like, "Yeah, like a fish."
Right, we slipped into the farmer's room, all quiet like.
Like a fish.
Yeah, and we... Like a fish? You stupid Norbert.
I love that line. It's I don't know, it really, really tickles me. It's really
I
funny.
think they also did Flushed Away, didn't they?
That would make sense, which I never saw. Or
not
maybe it was on TV in the background when I was at work one day. Or maybe it was all a fever dream.
Because you're always high.
Maybe I was dreaming of my favorite TV show, Shreknanigans, starring Steve Harwell.
Steve Harvey.
This episode, Steve Harvey, ugh. I don't like Steve Harvey,
I don't either.
but that's a topic for another day. This episode's ridiculous.
It derailed immediately. It
It's
derailed
fine.
before we clicked record.
Oh, it definitely did. So, yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but I really enjoyed Chicken Run.
That's fantastic.
It's a cute movie. It's fun. It's family friendly. You should watch it if you haven't seen it already. Or if you have seen it already, watch it again
And they give terrible reviews of it.
on Amazon.
Yep. On the Blu-ray section.
Right, so other people don't buy it for no reason.
So the first one I'm going to talk about also came out in the early 2000s, because that was back when, animators gave a shit. That is Brad Bird's The Iron Giant. Now, I really liked this movie. I don't think I saw it in theaters, but Cartoon Network showed it like every week.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
I've never seen this movie.
What's wrong with you?
I know it's really good. Everybody tells me it's awesome. Everybody loves it on the internet.
It's in the 1950s. It's like right after the Russians sent Sputnik up, because it was a big role in this.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the main character, whose name is Hogarth, which is the most unfortunate name ever. And he witnesses like a meteor crashing into the Earth. He goes to inspect it because he's just a young kid, and he finds this enormous robot like eating the electrical wires, and he kind of like helps him out. Robot gets really freaked out, but they eventually become really good friends. and he hides the robot out at his house, like in his barn, which makes no sense because the robot's like a mile high. I don't know. It's really big.
Is this the prologue to the 4th Transformers movie?
It is. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
If the Iron Giant showed up in the Transformers movies, it would be immediately better. So the government, I don't know, they don't really explain this too well, but the government shows up for no reason with this total douchebag known as Kent, who I always thought was played by James Woods. I don't think he is. Kent moves into Hogarth's house and like starts hitting on his single mom. There's like, a lot of funny scenes where like he tries to give Hogarth the talk, like the whole sex talk. It's really uncomfortable.
The birds and the bees.
Yup. So Hogarth sneaks the Iron Giant over to he has a friend named Dean who runs like the junkyard. I'm gonna spoil this movie for you. I just realized that halfway in.
That's fine. I mean, it's 20 years old at this point.
You need to watch
it's not
this.
20 years old at this point. That's not how math works,
Nope.
but
The Iron Giant waits out at Dean's junkyard and is like, because Dean's like an artist, quote unquote. So like they play it off as the Iron Giant's just one of his artworks.
gotcha.
You'd have to be a moron.
An
to do
artist
that.
like Steve Harwell.
Oh my god. Everything's gonna go back to this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep derailing it. It's
Fantastic.
fine.
It's just every time we like get serious,
It was way too funny not to just keep bringing up over and over again. We're done for today, man. Like
Yeah,
that, we
it's just gonna keep
ruined
going.
it. Okay. Anyway,
Hogarth kind of teaches, like, kind of gets to know the robot a little more. There's like a really, really good scene where he's reading a Superman comic, and he's like, Superman's fighting like Atomo, like the robot mastermind Atomo, and like kind of explains that, yeah, Atomo's a robot like you. And the Iron Giant gets really mad because like he's not evil. Like I don't want to be evil. So Hogarth's like, look, you be whatever you want to be. Doesn't matter. Just because you're a robot doesn't mean you're Atomo. You can be a robot and be Superman. It's wonderful. Then they witness like there's like another scene where they witness these two hunters that kill a deer and they run away because they see the Iron Giant, so they get scared. And like the Iron Giant gets really depressed because he sees like the deer's dying and stuff like that. And then he sees the guns and he gets like,
he's got the feels.
yeah. He's got the feels, but then he also has like a backup protocol where he sees the guns and he goes full gun mode
Ooh.
and like almost like hurts Hogarth at one point even. So like classic like robot get out of here scene.
Right.
And then like they come back. It's like, no, robot, come back. It's okay. So the robot's in the city. Kent, not James Woods, maybe James Woods, is like
No way to find out.
No way to find out. There's absolutely zero internet.
Can't
like,
look it up.
Database. There's no website like that.
No way to do it.
Kent is like getting like the military ready, and the military's like, look, we got this nuke, and we're gonna shoot it at the robot. And like the Army General Rigland,
Thunderbolt Ross
is like, no, Kent, you moron, there's kids there. Kent's like, fuck it, and he hits the button, and like,
rated PG.
yeah, it's PG, but it does let a lot of swearing in. It's kind of surprising. Especially from Hogarth, which is great. I think at one point someone calls him a little shit, which is like, it was really funny when I was a kid. So, this is the ending, so big spoiler here. The Iron Giant turns to Hogarth, and he like reminds him of all the lessons that he taught him. He's kind of saying goodbye, and like he's like, I'm Superman. I can do this. And like the robot takes off, and like the nuke like slams into him, and he's presumed dead. However, it's like an after credits before Marvel, Hogarth gets like a screw from the Iron Giant, because earlier on in the movie, it's established that he has like a self-healing protocol.
Okay.
Like when he gets hurt, like his parts come back together and like rebuild him. And like, so they give Hogarth a giant screw that was part of the Iron Giant. And like at night, he hears the screw like clicking against his window. And he like opens it up and it goes flying off in the distance. And it goes and it rebuilds his head. And the movie ends. And it's wonderful. It is such a good movie. You need to go see it if you haven't.
I'm smiling just based on your description.
Yeah, it's Brad Bird who, went on to do like The Incredibles. Mm-hmm. He did Tomorrowland, even though a lot of people didn't like it. I thought Tomorrowland was fine. It's really good. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's coming out on Blu-ray soon, which it never came out on Blu-ray apparently. So it finally is.
Conspiracy.
Right.
Damn you, Steve Harwell.
Damn you, James Woods.
Or maybe not James Woods.
I'm going to look it up in like 2 seconds after this. But yeah, it's a great movie. Give it a shot if you haven't yet. And go watch Brad Bird's other movies. Like
the ones you just mentioned.
Yep. I know there's a third one. I can't think of it right now. What's another movie that he did?
Condor Man.
Yep, that's it.
It's like when Mark Webb directed the Spider-Man movies.
Yep. Bird, Condor, Bird. He did Condor Man. He did the first Birdman. He did Birdman with Michael Keaton.
The Crow.
He did The Crow.
The Raven.
He got The Crow.
He wrote The Raven for Edgar Allan Poe.
Right. Went forward in time.
That's how Math works.
He got Bruce Lee's son killed.
What a jackass. See his movies.
Yep. Don't see The Crow. It's terrible.
Let's talk about The Crow real
No,
fast.
let's not talk about The Crow.
The Crow is not a good movie, okay?
Damn it.
That movie's dumb.
Yeah.
Everybody loves that movie. Not a good movie.
No, it's like they call it like
Cool.
a cult film.
Right, it's a cool premise. That's it.
He dies.
That's it.
Like he dies in the filming of that film.
Not a good movie.
No. It's
Anyway.
like Spawn.
Spawn's worse.
Yeah, Spawn's worse, but it's like in that same group with
Yeah,
Spawn.
it's like Spawn's a terrible movie.
Or like Constantine or something, you know, where it's like I'm a dark hero. No,
and this is a shit movie.
You're an emo kid from Hot Topic. Good luck.
Oh, yes.
So that's that first one. You're up with number 2.
Sweet. So next one I'm going to talk about is Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Whoa!
This is a great movie.
It is a great
I
movie.
love this movie. So it's
based on the book by Roald Dahl.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Apparently, yeah, he did that, and he did like BFG and.
Well, I knew
Chocolate
the BFG and Charlie and the Chocolate
Yeah,
Factory.
apparently, I didn't know that either because I like read a lot of Roald Dahl when I was a kid.
Yeah. Did you see the BFG?
I did not.
Heard it wasn't great.
I heard it was kind of scary. Not like
Did a
scary.
6-year-old tell you that?
No, my 3-year-old nephew told me that. I don't have a 3-year-old nephew.
He's 3.5.
Yeah, he is. He's getting big. No, but like apparently it's like unintentionally freaky because like the animation looks really shit at times apparently. So.
Well, crappy animation is scary.
Oh yeah.
Just ask Ralph Bakshi.
Ooh.
So, Fantastic Mr. Fox. Fantastic movie. Directed by Wes Anderson.
Legendary director.
Legendary. Had just great director. Has his own unique filmmaking style.
Yeah, you can tell when it's his movie, like
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, anytime you watch a Wes Anderson film, like it has its own visual aesthetic and tone and
timing.
yeah, he's fantastic. And I think that this is one of his best movies. So, Fantastic Mr. Fox is kind of like Chicken Run. It's like claymation.
It's another Rocketeer.
It's just like the Rocketeer.
It's Rocketeer, but with foxes.
Yeah, it's just like the Rocketeer. Nobody flies really, but so
New dance,
we should start a YouTube thing where it's just like the Rocketeer. It's movie reviews,
Yeah.
and it's always in reference to the Rocketeer,
It's always comparing every movie. To
even if it has just not related whatsoever.
Citizen Kane, so it's just like the Rocketeer, but in black and white. All right, trademark.
Right. Where Steve Harwell, don't steal that idea. I know you're not doing anything else besides
piece
listening to
of
this
shit.
podcast.
He is. He just sits on his couch.
Nobody told you about this idea, no
Right.
matter what the lines of your song say.
I heard the world was gonna roam me.
So, Fantastic Mr. Fox. All-star cast. You got George Clooney.
Yep.
You got Meryl Streep. You got
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
He's in it for like 5 seconds.
You got Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
Yes.
And then you got Willem Dafoe
Yes, as the
rat, which is amazing.
Oh, he's great. So this is a great movie. Essentially, the plot is there are these 3 wealthy tycoon guys,
Yeah.
and they are trying to kill Mr. Fox
Right.
and all of his fox and animal friends.
Yeah, was it Barson Bunsen Bean?
That sounds good. That sounds familiar. Yeah.
It's what do they sell? One of them sells like.
They all sell different food products.
Right, I know one is the apple cider. Like I can only remember the apple cider.
Yes. We're not going to remember the other 2,
one is
so let's just
chickens.
move on. Sure.
One is chickens and like the other like
The chickens from Chicken Run?
Oh my god!
Damn you, Steve Harwell.
Or Roald Dahl.
Or Roald Dahl. Or Steve Harvey. That's like the villains in Captain Planet.
Yeah. That's like porn.
I want to see that show too. That's like one of the animated.
Steve Harwell
That's
is
one of
Captain
the.
Planet.
That's one of no. That's one of like the animated shorts within Shreknanigans, where they have like a 3-minute cutaway short film where it's Captain Planet versus Steve Harwell, Steve Harvey, Roald Dahl, the reanimated corpse of Roald Dahl, or time traveled Roald Dahl, or both,
or Michael J. Fox in like a Roald Dahl like CG suit.
Does he have trouble moving around? Sorry. Womp womp.
I wasn't trying to think about Michael J. Fox. I was trying to think about the other guy, Michael Douglas.
The other Michael, yeah.
The other Michael.
There's only 2 of them.
3 if you count Michael Jackson, but
No.
no one does.
No, he's dead.
But Roald Dahl is not.
Shh. It makes sense, trust me. So, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Isn't by Roald Dahl.
This will be really funny then.
That'll be great.
The internet will yell at us. So Fantastic Mr. Fox, it's great. Fantastic animation style.
Yeah.
Like lots of everything's very textured.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's a physical thing that's like felt almost.
Yeah. It's like
Like the fur. The fur looks really good.
Yeah, everything looks so fantastic. The humor is brilliant. It's very Wes Anderson. Like it's very offbeat comedy.
Yeah.
All the characters are really creative and zany. And George Clooney's fantastic Mr. Fox. You know, and he's a husband and he's a father, but he's kind of an asshole and he's kind of a con man.
Well, he's the classic like middle-age crisis kind of guy who's like, I want to do what I used to do, but I can't do it anymore.
Right, yeah.
Gets back into his life of crime.
Just it's a lot of charming little scenes and dialogue. There's the I might even cut it in. There's the part where Owen Wilson is explaining how to play
the rack, like the what is it, like pine cone ball?
Yeah, or whatever. I think it's something like that.
Coach, we don't have whack bat where I'm from. What are the rules?
There's no whack bat on the other side of the river?
No, we mostly just run grass sprints or play acorns.
Huh. Well, it's real simple. Basically, there's 3 grabbers, 3 taggers, 5 twig runners, and the player at whack bat. The center tagger lights a pine cone, chucks it over the basket, and the whack batter tries to hit the cedar stick off the cross rock. Then the twig runners dash back and forth until the pine cone burns out and the umpire calls hot box. Finally, at the end, you count up however many score downs it adds up to and divide that by 9.
Got it.
Go in for Ash. Substitution!
And it's just it's hilarious. Like
he's just like he's a natural.
George Clooney's son is like, who's played by Jason Schwartzman, is like super awkward and weird.
Yeah, Ash.
Yeah.
And then the Ash's cousin
Christopherson, yes,
comes to visit, and Christopherson's a natural at everything.
Yeah, he's just like perfect at everything he does.
The one scene I love is when they're like just relaxing outside their treehouse, and Ash is like, "Hey, Dad, watch this!" And he like jumps off the tree, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he's like trying to like do like weird stuff, and then just like splashes in the water.
Yes.
And like George Clooney's just like looking at his papers, like, "Wow, good job, Ash." And then like Christopherson like jumps off, and then like it's just slow falling, and he like does like a 180, then goes back,
yeah,
does a 180, and then like goes in the water, and it makes no sound, just makes like a little like bloop.
Yeah, it's like barely a splash. It's
and like George Clooney stands up, he's like clapping, he's like, "Woo! Look at that!"
Standing ovation.
What a natural.
Yeah, it's just really charming, and all the voice acting is great. Bill Murray's great in the scene where Fox goes in and talks to the Badger, and they're you cussing at me? You cussing with me? I'm cussing with you?
You'll be better not be cussing with me. I'm gonna cuss with you.
It's so great. It's fantastic. No pun intended. So
you said it like 4 times.
I have. That's fine. I don't care. So yeah, if you haven't seen Fantastic Mr. Fox, it's super fun. It's super charming. Again, it's kid friendly, but it also has a lot in there for adults and like little contextual clues and things like that in there, and it's just a great time. All of Wes Anderson movies are pretty great.
Yep, agreed. So my next one, big Disney rival, amazing director, amazing animator, Don Bluth.
Yes.
Super talented. Did like Secret of NIMH, Five Will Goes West, All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Lazy Eye.
Yep. He also did Penguin and the Pebble, which has my favorite Tim Curry laugh, where Tim Curry is a giant evil penguin, just like, it's like, I love it. I love Tim Curry's laugh. That's not what I'm talking about, though, because that movie's crap. Like, Penguin and the Pebble is a terrible movie. What I'm talking about is actually a movie that I was really fond of when I was a child, which is The Land Before Time, which, for those of you who haven't seen it, became an enormous franchise with 14 movies. However, movies 2 through 14 were not done by Don Bluth or his studio.
Isn't it like after the 8th one, it's like The Land After Time? Because it's been so much time?
It's been so... Oh.
Ooh, wait.
They're all extinct. It's just like an hour of like a like sediments growing over like a brachiosaurus.
Didn't we talk in a previous episode about Land Before Time being super depressing and like there being a funeral or something?
Yeah, well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
That's a big thing in the first one. Have you not seen this one either?
No, I've seen the first Land Before Time many times. Dude, I was a kid and it was a movie about dinosaurs. Come on, dude.
Shut your mouth. This is my analogy.
This is like dinosaurs, ninjas, and robots. If you're a little kid, if you're a little boy, you can't go wrong with those things.
Did you watch Three Ninjas?
Oh, definitely. That movie's garbage.
Yes, it is, especially when they go surfing.
Right, isn't it the third one or whatever?
There's like 3 of those.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan's in one of them.
Yeah, that's the second one when they go to Hollywood. Like 3 Ninjas do Hollywood or something like that. Who cares? They're all garbage.
Did they meet up with Debbie doing Dallas?
Yep.
Crossover.
Or Pocket Ninjas.
Oh, God. Or surf Nazis that must die.
Yep.
When they surf.
Smeg's mom.
Smeg's mom.
Way off topic.
So many references.
So, Land Before Time, as we just talked about, is about dinosaurs. It follows the birth and like very young childhood of they're called long necks, they're brachiosauruses clearly, named Littlefoot. And there's like this big, because I rewatched this not too long ago. I watched it a long time ago with a bunch of friends, including Major. And we laughed at it because of how like awkward it is at times.
Yes.
Clearly for children, so you can't watch it with that mindset. Came on recently though, watched it again. It's very charming, it's very good. Very depressing, which is horrible. And it's like, it's because Don Bluth does a really good job of like making you miserable.
Yes.
In a children's film.
Yeah, he
takes away hope a lot.
Yeah, he really sets up the stakes in children's movies, and sometimes it really works, like I think it does in this movie.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it really doesn't, like in
Troll
in
in
Central Park, which is a garbage movie.
But he's got that wonderful thumb.
Ah, that movie sucks so much.
It is. We should talk about Don Bluth sometime too.
Definitely.
So, the movie starts out, all the dinosaurs are kind of separated, right? And this is the Cretaceous period, I believe.
Sure.
Scientists, be out there. Don't prove me wrong.
Like,
Was it the X-Files?
yeah, you like be out there.
So, there is a large drought, and the dinosaurs have to migrate to a place called the Great Valley, which is supposed to be like this wonderful, lush, green, grass is greener kind of place. However, there's like an earthquake, and like everything goes bad. I'm jumping around. Early on in the film, we get this scene where Littlefoot tries to play with what's called a three-horn, which is a triceratops, named Sarah.
And three horns don't play with long necks.
Right. Three horns have like this very like prideful, like they don't mess with that kind of crap. So they kind of play around for a little bit, but while playing around, they deal with a sharp tooth, which is a T-Rex essentially. And in escaping, Sarah's father and Littlefoot's mother come to help. Sarah's father kind of just takes Sarah and runs because he's a total asshole. But Littlefoot's mom kind of fights off the T-Rex, gets very injured. The earthquake happens. Ravine opens up. T-Rex falls in. And then we get the most depressing, like heart-wrenching, like, damn you, Don Bluth. This is a children's film scene where Littlefoot's talking to his mom, who the two of them are going to go to the Great Valley. You want to sing the Great Beyond. That would be a terrible thing to tell your kids.
Prime Heaven from Transformers 2.
So Littlefoot's talking to his mom as she's slowly dying, and like she's having to tell him like the directions on how to get to the Great Valley, while he's like just sobbing, and he's like,
I remember this very vividly.
It's so hard to watch. Even
Yes.
like now it's hard to watch.
It's sad, especially when you're a kid.
Yeah, so Littlefoot then has to go make this journey on his own, and he eventually finds Sarah again, because Sarah gets separated from her father with the earthquake as well. However, her father doesn't die, even though that would have been great.
Father was a drinker.
Yeah. And a fiend. They eventually meet up with I think they're called big mouths or large mouths. Which I want to say is a Platysaurus.
I don't remember. It's been too long.
Which is Ducky. Tragically, the actress who played Ducky was murdered by her father.
Yes, that was
which
sad.
Is horrible. Then they eventually find Petrie, who is a pterodactyl, who's scared of flying and scared of heights, which is, of course, kind of cute.
He was also in Chicken Run.
No, it wasn't. Was he really?
No.
Oh. It's like Rocketeer.
But it is like the
dinosaurs.
Rocketeer because he's afraid of flying.
Right. Just like Cole.
Just like dinosaurs.
Cliff John Cord.
Cliff Concord, the car. Introducing the 2016 Cliff Concord.
So they eventually find a mute stegosaur baby who's like separated because all his egg. He was like a late hatch or something like that. Spike, the spiky tail.
The vampire from Buffy
Yep.
the Vampire Slayer.
Yep, definitely. That's a very weird team up. So it's essentially these 5 baby dinosaurs traveling across like this horrible barren landscape.
The Mad Max apocalypse.
Right. Just to find this great valley. And they like constantly bicker and they constantly fight. And there's like a lot of really depressing scenes where like there's like one scene where Sarah wakes up in the middle of the night because she's freezing, but she sees that all the other dinosaurs are like cuddled up with Littlefoot.
Mm-hmm.
Because the two of them kind of have this back and forth about like who should lead them.
Yes.
And that's really depressing. There's
and Littlefoot as the man is right.
Yep.
No.
Just putting in that patriarchy right off the bat. So then there's like a lot of other really good scenes. There's that one scene where Sarah's fighting a bunch of like club tails. And, like, they're all covered in, like, tar.
Yes, that's actually really scary.
Yeah, and they, like, look like a giant, gross monster. And it's like, and, like, the club tails just get the hell out of there. And then I remember like them trying to talk to Sarah as like parts of like so imagine this from their point of view. This is a giant monster, and like pieces of it are like falling out and like starting to talk to her, and like she's like freaking out.
Yes.
It's amazing.
The animation is great for
Oh, yeah.
showing like the emotions that the dinosaurs are portraying.
Because it's all like it's on their eyes, and
Yes.
like they'd still give them somewhat of like a chin or like
Yeah, it's
an eyebrow kind of thing.
it's really well done.
well, it's Don Bluth, and that's just classic.
But that's not synonymous with
Okay.
well done.
Okay, look, yeah, he's
A
got
troll in Central Park, man. That is
Penguin in the
that is
Pebble.
the gavel that rains down anytime.
I mean, Penguin in the Pebble's bad, but it's not Troll in Central Park.
No, Troll in Central Park is an unwatchable piece of trash.
It's I call that movie like the Jingle Keys movie, where it's the equivalent of sitting in front of a baby and jingling keys in front of their
Right.
face for 2 hours.
There's just nothing happening.
It's so bad. Did Don Bluth do We're Back? I feel like he did.
Maybe that movie's really
That
bad.
movie's also really bad. The movie's also really dark. That's why I feel like it's Don Bluth.
Possibly.
That's off topic, even though they're dinosaurs. So they eventually do find the Great Beyond. Nope. They eventually do find the Great Valley, where Littlefoot meets back up with his grandparents now, who watch him throughout the rest of the wonderful series. Sarah finds her smoking, drinking father off in the corner. Ducky meets up with the other big mouths. They do adopt Spike, which is great. Petrie finds the other... I don't care. Petrie's the worst.
Who
I always
cares?
say Petrie. Oh, but I forgot. There is a really vicious murder scene where they kill the T-Rex because Littlefoot wants vengeance. So he makes Ducky be like the bait.
And this time, it's personal.
Like Ducky's the smallest one in their group, and he's like, "Go stand over there, let the T-Rex chase you. Me and Spike are gonna go up here and push a giant freaking boulder on his head." And she's like, "Yup, yup, yup," and it's like, "Great, here we go." So everything goes wrong, but then it shows like the T-Rex like tries to jump up there and get them, and he like grabs the boulder and like rolls off. He's dead. Like that boulder crushed him. He's like, it's like T-Rexes are evil, but it's like they're just animals.
Speaking of being crushed by a giant boulder in an animated movie, the Queen in Snow White, she gets wrecked.
Oh yeah,
Like,
she's horrible. She's not like she wants to kill a girl because she's prettier than her.
dwarves just like straight up murder her.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's the lightning or whatever, but like she
No.
gets destroyed.
Maybe that's foreshadowing for Zeus in the hit 1990s movie Hercules.
Ah,
That movie's terrible.
hey, there's a lot of people that really like it.
Nope.
Like a certain somebody that I know.
Nope, nobody likes it. It's a proven fact.
Especially not James Woods.
Yep. Why is it Greek with Vegas? It makes no sense.
It's fun.
Also, why is Scar a throw rug?
It's fun.
Nope. That movie's all about selling
It's
out.
all Steve Harwell's fault. Speaking of selling out, Smash Mouth.
There's women walking on the sun.
Somebody wants to...
Danny DeVito is in Hercules.
All right. So the movie that I really want to talk about today is...
Shark Tale.
everything else is just... Yeah, Shark Tale.
Shark Tale starring Will Smith.
That was back when they just thought that they could cast anybody for
Yeah.
voice acting. Like, they didn't cast actual voice actors. They're just like, oh, Will Smith.
Will Smith looks freaky as a fish, man. Like, he looks terrifying. I think his name's Oscar in that movie. That fish needs to be killed. Like, I wanted that fish to die, like in Act 1. And he's just, like, tied up, and the shark's like, here we go, we gonna get him. I was like, yeah, please do. Run the credits. I don't care. Make it about his son. Just don't cast Jaden. Please don't.
Jaden was like -6 or
I don't
whatever when
think
that
he was
movie
born
came
yet.
out.
Jada Pinkett Smith was -6 when she came out.
Of where?
I don't know. That movie came out. That when she came out. I don't like Jada Pinkett Smith either.
Anyway, I want to talk about Princess Mononoke
Is that the...
because this movie
is that
is
Disney princess?
awesome.
Dude, she should be a Disney princess.
That would be badass.
Can you imagine just like the Disney lineup, like Cinderella, Snow White, Mulan?
It's just San and Mulan destroying everyone.
Just Mononoke just got like blood all over her mouth.
That would be sweet. So Princess Mononoke is a super, super awesome movie. And this is the first Japanese anime film that I ever watched.
Yeah.
And it totally spoiled anime for me because when I watched this movie, I was like, this is incredible. How have I never seen anything like this? And shout outs to my old friend Dan.
Hayao Miyazaki.
Hayao Miyazaki. We go bowling every Tuesday. Now shout outs to my friend Dan because he was the one, he brought this movie and Ghost in the Shell over to my house.
Ooh.
And I didn't get to see Ghost in the Shell because he had to go home the next day. He spent the night, but we watched Princess Mononoke, and it was awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible. So Princess Mononoke is about this young man, Prince Ashitaka.
Yep.
And he lives in this kind of rural village. And this is kind of like a medieval Japan setup style type thing. And he gets attacked, his village gets attacked by this demon creature. And even though he defeats the demon creature, which was like this evil force that was possessing a giant boar, he gets marked by the demon, and he has this like wound on his arm.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a giant burn mark on
Yes, and the wise woman of the village tells him that you have been cursed. You have to now leave the village. You cannot stay here. You must also renounce your princehood. He has to cut his hair. It's very ceremonial. And so he kind of goes off to be a wanderer, and he rides on his great red elk, who is awesome.
Yep,
and super sweet.
Best thing ever.
It's so cool. And he comes across this village where the villagers are being attacked by these samurai warrior mercenary guys. And I remember like at this moment in the movie, I was like, I'm really gonna like this movie. This movie's awesome because he has a bow, an arrow, and he pulls it back, and like right before he lets go of the arrow, the cursed mark on his arm like starts acting up, and when he lets,
it's like on his pole arm.
Yeah, and like when he lets go of the arrow like flies with like superhuman speed. And this like samurai guy has his sword raised up, and he's just about to hit a peasant. The arrow hits his sword and rips his arms out of his sockets.
Yeah.
And the guy's just like, what the hell just happened? And I remember when I saw this, I think when I was like 13 or 14, and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's such a good movie with that. Like that scene was kind of what sold me too, because he just pulls it, his arm like starts to like venom out, and just like
it's super incredible. So in the English, and the English dub of this is actually pretty good, unlike most anime.
Yeah, well, and that's the good thing about the Miyazaki films is that Disney handled their localization most of the time.
Yes.
In a lot of cases like this, Spirited Away is similar. Really, the only one I didn't like was As the Wind Rises.
Mm-hmm.
John Krasinski and Joseph Gordon-Levitt are in that movie. JGL is pretty fantastic. John Krasinski sounds like he showed up, read his lines, and then left.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet, anyway. But Miyazaki. Just side note, like Hayao Miyazaki is the director of this movie, and the ones we're mentioning, like most of his films are absolutely incredible.
Yes, he did this, My Neighbor Totoro,
Howl's Moving Castle,
Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind,
Castle in the Sky, Kiki's Delivery Service. Porco Rosso?
Yep, Ponyo.
Ponyo.
Life of Arrietty.
I didn't really like Ponyo that much.
Ponyo's very more kid-oriented.
It's super rated G.
Yeah. And then Secret Life of Arrietty is also pretty...
It's Studio Ghibli, but I don't think he actually...
He oversaw it.
Oh, okay.
That's not his, but he oversaw that one.
Gotcha. So anyway, back to Mononoke. So Ashitaka kind of gets rolled up in this plot where there is this group of people that live in this place called Irontown, and they are systematically cutting down and burning down the forest so they can mine iron, which is what their economy is based off of. And of course, the creatures of the forest, like their home is being destroyed. So they're fighting back.
Right, they're lashing back.
Yeah, against the citizens of Irontown, led by Lady Eboshi.
Yes.
And so Lady Eboshi is kind of like our quote-unquote villain of this movie.
But she really isn't. And I think that's the shining moment about this movie.
Yes, because this movie, even though there's villainous characters, nobody's really a bad guy. They're just kind of doing things from their point of view. Yeah, it's very reminiscent of like Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, where even the, quote, bad characters or the villains, from their point of view, they're doing what they need to do.
Right, like the Lannisters or the Starks.
Exactly. Like Lady Eboshi, she is mining the iron because the city's economy is based on iron, and she has all these people that look up to her. She's the leader of all of these citizens, and like so she's doing what she has to do. They're also, Lady Eboshi and her people are working on developing weapons. Yep. They're like firearms that use the iron in order to actually have like projectiles, and she's using that to fight back against the creatures of the forest. And we meet the titular character of the movie, who they call Princess Mononoke. Her name is San. Yeah. And San is a human girl that's been raised by wolves. Giant wolves. Awesome giant wolves. Yep. And one of them, played in the English version by Gillian Anderson, is the wolf god Moro, I believe is her name.
Yes.
And there's lots of like gods of nature in this. Like there's the great forest spirit, which is kind of the central
It was
one.
amazing.
Yeah, there's like the boar god, the wolf god, lots of like nature druidic spirits type things going on. There's the Akudamu, which are the cute little guys with the little heads
the
that
spirits.
everybody loves from this movie.
Yep.
It's incredible. So
Well, then randomly, there's like one of Lady Eboshi's like assistants. It's played by Billy Bob Thornton.
yeah, so
And
Billy,
it's like super. It's like kind of a small role for him.
Billy Bob Thornton plays Jigo, who is a monk.
Yep.
And he is working for Lady Eboshi because he wants to acquire the Great Forest Spirit's head.
Right.
Because the Emperor believes that the Great Forest Spirit's head will give him immortality.
Yeah.
And Jigo doesn't really believe in any of that, but he's going to get a hold of that so he can get a bunch of money from the Emperor. And he's also working with Lady Eboshi to further his own means because she's supplying him men so they can go into the forest and kill the Great Forest Spirit. And of course, San and the wolves and the boars are fighting back against all this, and Ashitaka kind of gets in the middle of everything.
Right.
And Ashitaka, his whole arc is that he's realized that hatred and war and violence don't solve anything because he has been cursed by essentially the personification of hatred.
Right.
And he's trying to show everyone this is not the way to live your life. Like, look what this does. It simply destroys everything. We have to learn to live in harmony. Like, it's very like a green agenda.
Yeah, and
but
that's kind of a classic Miyazaki kind of thing.
Yeah.
He does that in a lot of his films.
Right. And I think this one handles it the most maturely because
It's
even
not on
though
the head.
even though it's clearly a central theme, everybody, like you were saying before, everybody on both sides is a three-dimensional character.
Yeah.
Again, nobody is being villainous just for the sake of being villainous. And it's a fantastic movie. The animation is exquisite.
It
like
really
is. It is so incredible.
This was like 97.
I think it's 97 is when this
And,
movie came out.
Like, it looks like it could have been made 2005,
Right.
2006.
I mean, it's like
Easily.
there's so many scenes. Like the one that always sticks out in my mind is there's that scene where Ashitaka is like running through the forest,
Mhm.
and like they animate the light coming through the forest and like the leaves going across his face as he's running. There's so many like awesome fight scenes. Like there's a scene where San and Lady Eboshi square off against each other, and San has like this dagger, and she's moving really quickly, and Lady Eboshi has this katana. It's a lot of like really quick animation, but you can still like the geography of the scene makes sense. You can tell what's going on. Like it's well choreographed.
Right.
The movie has a lot of humor in it. Jada Pinkett Smith, speaking of the Smiths,
Yep.
and she is like one of the worker women who work the iron.
The pump fire.
Yeah, they have to like pump fire to smelt the iron and that sort of stuff. There's that scene that's really cool where Ashitaka and Lady Eboshi go to talk to the lepers who are working on the guns for Eboshi.
Yeah.
And you just get a real big sense of how this world works and like all of the people in it.
Well, and they set up her city incredibly well. Where back to the idea that there is no villain, where the people in the city, like, they're not mistreated.
Yes.
Like they're not slaves.
Right.
They work. They make money. They live well. She takes care of them.
Yeah, I like what you just said. It very much sets up the idea that everybody in this city contributes to the success of the city.
Right.
And then there's a warlord from a nearby other city that tries to attack them, and they have to defend themselves. And like you can tell, even though again Lady Eboshi in Ashitaka's eyes is kind of doing the wrong thing, and in San's eyes she's pure evil.
Right.
The people of Irontown like really look up to Lady Eboshi and really love her and love the fact that she protects them and that she's a brave leader. Like it's just again everything is very, very well established in these characters, and it makes the events that happen in the movie really, really matter. Like there's a lot of weight and there's a lot of significance behind it. And when you do finally get to the end, like it's super, super satisfying because you've watched all of these characters come together and coalesce into this fantastic story.
Yeah, and just the climax too, because you can argue that San more or less loses.
Yeah.
Like the overall fight, but there's a really great scene. Like every scene with the Spirit of the Forest is amazing.
Yes.
But the Spirit of the Forest is kind of unsettling because it's silent. It doesn't say anything, while the boars have like a very low voice that's like very growly. The wolves are very quiet but like intimidating. Spirit of the Forest does not talk. It's a stag with like a huge set of antlers
and the face of a human.
Right, which is
it's super
weird.
creepy. Yeah, and like the choice of music and animation and just like the background and the tone of how the forest is presented.
Especially
like
when like Ashitaka first sees
Yes.
it, and he walks in, and Spirit of the Forest stands on like a small island with a large tree on it, and it's just surrounded by this like pond or lake or something, and it's just the lake is like beautiful crystal blue. The sun perfectly cuts through the leaves. Like the lighting on this movie is ridiculous
Yeah,
for an animated
it's
film
so
of its
good.
time, and it just like it shows this majesty of like
that's the perfect word for it.
It's just like the majesty of nature. It's like here it is. This is the Lord of the Forest essentially,
and eerily beautiful.
Yeah,
like it's a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's super cool.
Definitely,
it's great. It ruined anime for me because I was like, this is anime? And then I was like, oh, I watched the best thing of anime ever first.
There's like 4 or 5 other things that aren't Miyazaki that look maybe that good, and then like everything else is like, it's like DBZ. Like, I love DBZ, but like, if you go back and watch like the original like Saiyan Saga, it does not look good. But then again, it's a TV show. It's hard to compare. So keeping with the theme of Studio Ghibli and Miyazaki, I would argue probably his more well-known one. It was nominated for an Oscar. Did it?
Yes.
I don't know if it won.
I think it won Best Animated Feature.
I think it did too. That is Spirited Away. Spirited Away is fantastically gorgeous, just like Princess Mononoke. It was made in the early 2000s. Very much like Iron Giant. It was shown on Cartoon Network like every damn weekend. And again, kind of like Mononoke as well, it teaches morals very well, but still telling a good story, very interesting.
Yeah, this, like you said, this is probably his most well-known film. It was certainly the biggest release, for one of his movies.
I don't know, it doesn't have too many big stars, and I don't remember. I know it's got Fanning as...
Yeah, Dakota Fanning.
Yeah,
and
Sen.
I don't remember too many big stars, but yeah, this was by far his like most commercial release. And this film consistently makes people's like top 10, top 5 like animated movies of all time.
Right.
Like this is probably his most universally praised film.
Yeah, and it deserves it too. It's wonderful. So the story is essentially Chihiro and her family move into this small town, and her father's kind of adventurous. He sees this tunnel and he goes through it, and they find like this weird kind of abandoned village. And while they're there, he finds this kind of like a restaurant front that has food set out, and they just start like eating it and like without any regard to what's going on. While Chihiro starts to see things going past her, like these ghostly shapes, and she starts to freak out and try to get them away. And all of a sudden, her 2 parents start to get bigger, and they turn into pigs, which is really weird. It's classic Miyazaki is to give you a lot of weird stuff right off the bat. So Chihiro's like panicking now. Her parents have both turned into pigs. They're eating this food like slop. There's ghosts around her now. Suddenly she's freaking out about that. Luckily she finds a nice young boy whose name is Haku, who's talking to her, and he's like, look, you clearly don't belong here. Let me explain what's going on. What you just walked across, you've entered the spirit realm. You need to get across that bridge. You need to get your parents back under that bridge. You need to get out now, or you're stuck here. Like if the sun goes down, the moon comes up, like you're done. Like that's it. Well, it's too late because it already happened because Haku's a dick and doesn't tell her earlier. So now she's stuck. And the big cool thing about this is they're in the spirit realm, but they're in the spirit realm at a bathhouse, which is kind of cool. So it's this enormous Japanese-style bathhouse. So Haku takes Sen and introduces her to Kumaji, who is like a weird old man, but he's like a spider. He's really kind of weird, but like I said, it all goes together. Kumaji agrees to help her get a job here at the bathhouse, along with Lin, who is a worker at the bathhouse as well. But first, they have to go talk to Shibaba, which is this gross, old, like, she's kind of like fat, but she's kind of like floats witch kind of character. I don't know. It's weird to describe. And Shibaba takes away her name Chihiro and calls her Sen, which Haku later on reveals is how Shibaba gets you stuck here, is that you take your name, and if you forget your name, you cannot leave and go back to the real world. You're stuck here in the spirit realm, which he reveals that that's what happened to him. So a bunch of kind of mishaps and weird stuff happen throughout the time while she's at the bathhouse, and she starts to slowly lose her identity as Chihiro, but eventually, through Haku's help, as well as Shubaba's twin sister, they get a big plan together to get back out. While the whole time she's learning, like the big plot of the movie is to teach not to be greedy, to help people out, to not be afraid of certain people, like don't judge someone by their cover. Like she eventually helps a swamp monster while no one else will because it smells, but because she does, turns out to be a beautiful river spirit that helps her out. So it's a really good movie. There's a lot of it's very fun because there's a lot of weird creatures, like the introduction of everyone's favorite character, No Face, who's like this creepy shadow oval with like a face, like a mask that has like no expression on it, who like creates gold and eats people. He's weird, but everyone loves him. There's that. Like I said, Kumaji the spider. There's like these weird fur balls that help him out, but it's a lot of fun. The spirits are very well designed, and voice acting's amazing on it. There's a lot of really nice moments.
Yeah. And
especially in like the second or third act.
Yeah, and it's a very visually dense movie. Like there's a lot going on with different characters and a lot of themes and tonal shifts and that sort of thing, but it all really, really works. And again, the visuals of the film really help sell that. Like all of the spirits have their own very unique design.
Yeah.
And they're designed in such a way to kind of evoke an understanding and inspiration from the audience to know, oh, this is what this kind of character is and what they're doing. One of the things that I always really remember from this movie, and I haven't seen it in years, I really need to rewatch it, but one thing that I always super remember, it's at the very, very beginning of the movie where Chihiro, when she puts on her shoe, she like fiddles with her finger to get the shoe on correctly, and she like taps her foot on the ground so that her foot slides in correctly.
Yeah.
And it's just like this really, really minor detail in the animation.
But it's something that you go, I do that.
Yeah, but it super sells just the idea. Like it makes her a real character, and three-dimensional character, even really before the movie starts. Like it's like, oh, that's what a little girl would do. Like she would fiddle around with her shoe to make sure it fits correctly, and like that just super small detail. Again, kind of like the shadows of the leaves running across Ashitaka's face in Mononoke.
Right.
It's just those little details that Miyazaki always puts in his movies that really just kind of get you into the world that his film takes place in.
Yeah, and the thing, like going off the world thing, is that they don't really talk about the spirit world. Like they don't show it. It's just this bathhouse, and then eventually there's like this really somber scene where Sen Chihiro gets on a weird train that just shows up with no face, and just a lot of shots of just this train just going through like forests. There's one part where it's like going over like what looks like an endless lake, and just really beautiful shots for just a kid's film. Yeah,
it's a gorgeous movie, and it's fairly existential when it comes to a lot of things. But again, the setup of the spirit world and the animation and the building of everything they do just really make this just really gorgeous story and this gorgeous experience of a film.
And it just goes with Miyazaki. That's just it.
He's a man.
But everyone learns a lesson, so that's the best part about it. Don't be greedy. Don't be an asshole.
So Gordon Gekko is wrong.
Yep.
Greed is not good.
Screw you, Michael Douglas.
And you, Steve Harwell. This is the League of Doom for Captain Planet. It's Steve Harwell.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
I mean, really, you gotta have an explanation for this. You just can't tell me this spun out of a gastrous ball.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, then we were evolved from monkeys. Why we still got monkeys?
Roald Dahl. Zombie Roald Dahl.
Yep.
Time traveled Roald Dahl.
Yep.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Shia LaBeouf.
Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife. It's Shia LaBeouf.
Awesome.
And there was one more. Oh, Michael Douglas.
Who's the Eric guy from The Mask?
Eric guy from The Mask?
You seen The Mask?
With
The guy
Jim
with the messed up
Carrey?
face? No.
Oh, Mask.
Yeah.
Eric Stoltz.
Yes, Eric Stoltz has to be there too.
No, man. I ain't give you're gonna give it a shot.
No, you're gonna give it a shot.
I ain't giving her the shot.
I never done this
Yeah,
before.
I ain't never done it before either, all right? I ain't starting now. Look, you brought her here, and that means that you're gonna give it the shot. The day that I bring an OD and bitch to your house, then I give her the shot. Give her the shot.
From Mask or
Yeah.
just regular
No,
Eric Stoltz?
from Mask.
Okay,
Eric
Eric
as
Stoltz
his
from
character
Mask.
in Mask.
All right, I like it. So yeah, that's our episode on animated movies that are not Disney.
What are we gonna talk about?
Well, we can talk about Shrek. It's fine.
Before we end, we gotta talk about Shrek.
Quickly.
So Shrek was a hit.
Somebody once told me.
We talked about this a little bit. Like, we won't go too much into it. Everyone knows what Shrek is. Like, it's an internet joke. It's a meme. Whatever. I didn't like Shrek that much. I thought it was kind of funny at times. It definitely hasn't aged well. If
I
you
agree.
watch it now,
Shrek 2 is still pretty good.
I think Shrek 2 is way better.
Yes.
I think it gets a lot of crap because of the sequel and because the third one is, oh my god, horrible.
Third one's terrible.
And the fourth one's pretty horrible.
But not as bad as the third one. Yeah.
Like, oh, they're all crap except for like the first two are okay. I heard Puss in Boots is all right too.
Never seen it.
I will not watch it.
Never watch it.
Jonathan Lithgow's not in the second one. That's probably the worst thing. But I love the sexual jokes in the first one too that I didn't catch until I was older.
Yeah, definitely some stuff inserted.
Yeah.
Well, no pun intended.
All pun intended.
All pun intended.
Like I love the part where they like get up to looking at Lord, because he's supposed to be Lord Fuckwad.
Yeah.
Which I love that too. Lord Fuckwad's castle, and like Shrek looks at it and goes, I think he's compensating for something. Dog's like, I don't know what you mean. They just keep walking, and it's amazing.
But the best part about the movie,
it gave Steve Hartwell a career for 2 years. And then he killed David Bowie by making Under Pressure.
The cover of Under Pressure.
Yup. Thanks, asshole.
It's so bad. So that's our episode on non-Disney
it somehow ended.
Animated movies. Somehow ended. We got there. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, or if you didn't, let us know. You can find the show on social media, on Facebook and Twitter, as well as at Gmail, all at Pop Rant Radio. Show is also available on YouTube, where there's episodes of the show posted, as well as a few other things that we've done.
Send us your favorite quotes from Shrek the Third.
That was an example. That's silence
Shrek
right
the
there.
Third.
That's the best quote from the movie. It's just the dead silence.
Justin Timberlake in that movie?
He is. He's the little prince.
God, I hate that.
It's real bad. I saw that movie in theaters, and I could not tell you one thing about it other than they got on a ship, and the movie sucked.
I know there was an ocean. Shrek the Fourth is not... Or Shrek Forever After.
Yeah, that's the time-traveling one.
Yeah. That's
it kind of has an okay premise.
It's like where he meets...
He meets Fiona as if she was always an
but the
ogre.
villain is Rumpelstiltskin or something?
Yes.
Which is stupid?
Yeah.
Just like Once Upon a Time? That show's stupid?
Never seen it.
I never will.
If you've never seen it, then why is it stupid?
I have seen it.
Oh. Anyway, the show is also available on Libsyn and iTunes.
Yep.
If you are listening to us on iTunes, please rate, review, subscribe.
Like,
send
comment.
a cookie.
Send a pizza roll.
Just a single pizza roll.
Yep.
Thanks, Red Letter Media.
Yep, that's a blanket reference.
We appreciate it. As always, thanks to Major. You're the man. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
the theme
sir.
songs. We appreciate it. Apparently, I appreciate lots of things today.
Yes, you do. Is it fantastic?
It is fantastic.
Somebody once told
like
you?
a fox. Somebody once told me the world is
No one's
gonna...
gonna download this episode for how many times that we say it.
Well, it's Shrek-nanigans. This is the
Actually,
episode that
you know what you
promotes
should do?
Shrek-nanigans.
You should cut out every time that we say it, and you should just play.
I don't want to get copyrighted, man.
Well, it's fair use.
Those internet bots.
Oh yeah.
Who knows?
Now.
Doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it, and we will see you next week.
Get Shrek'd.
Get Shrek'd.
Bye.